There you go.
So this is the ultralight glider. It's about 80 kilos. That's made by a Greek fellow in Thessaloniki. I started chatting to him, I don't know, within a year probably, and finally I've organised coming out to try it out. I love the concept of flying. It's like a glider, but it's much slower than a glider. You're flying at 45 kilometres or 40 to 45 stall speed, probably comfortably thermaling would be more than 50 k's an hour, and 60 doesn't seem to want to go much faster than that. You can, got to fly it more and suss it out. But on this day it was my first flights, and went out there and started getting towed behind the car like I was for that flight, with about 100 metres of spectra. And yeah, initially I would just fly only a few meters above the ground, like less than a wingspan, like I was saying, and just get a feel for the rudder and the elevator and the controls. It's super sensitive, like there you can see the tail, the whole surface moves. Yeah, so there's a lot of power, especially if you're going faster. You just have to be super sensitive on the controls, but that's kind of nice. How you just put pressure on it, you don't move your arm too much. So yeah, just enough height for a circuit there. You can see the flaps come down. There's actually no air brakes, so they kind of function as brakes. That is at 32 degrees flap. There's another setting at 62 degrees, and that works more like an air brake. And I found that on my last flight of the day, I used that basically to descend, and I found you can just go faster with those full flaps, and it uses more air brake. So I think that's what I'll do in the future. I'll land with the full flaps, the 62 degrees, not the 32. You can see the ground effect here means I keep going quite a bit, and already I didn't land at the end of the runway. I'm kind of used to landing. I don't like to care where you've got heaps of runway behind you. But yeah, a great day out there. These flights were all good, and the second one coming up now was a cable break, unplanned cable break. So I just landed straight ahead. I had enough runway ahead of me. The runway was almost 2 metre long here. Pretty narrow, only slightly wider than the wings. But yeah, you can see I lose the power, and I don't know exactly what I was thinking, but obviously in that situation the first thing you want to do is make sure that you have airspeed, keep the nose down, and it seems like I did that, but nothing too drastic, and just landed straight ahead. I would be on 32 degrees flaps there again, but I guess I was pretty comfortable. I'd had plenty of runway ahead of me, and it's actually quite hard to put it in 62 degrees flap. You need quite a bit of force if you've got any speed. You don't want to be going too slow from near the ground, I guess. But there was one earlier flight, not all the flights are videoed, but one of the earlier flights I was flying a bit too slow because we had the parachute on the line, and it was kind of in front of me, distracting me. So by the time I touched down, like I was on the flying, by the time I touched down I was a bit slow, and I think because I didn't have much control with this back, so I didn't have much direction and control. I'm not really sure, like, I don't know everything that goes on, but yeah, I ended up ground looping it, probably partly because one of the wings hit the high grass at some point. And yeah, I was sort of going backwards and forwards a little bit with the rudder sometimes. But yeah, after this flight I did my first flight with the turbine. You can see that thing sticking out behind my bum it's about 5 kilograms diesel, like jet turbine. It makes a racket, but you don't really need earmuffs. I think it would be louder if it wasn't behind you. But yeah, we got that through the warm-up sequence, which is probably half a minute or a bit more maybe, before getting auto-towed. And then I auto-towed, and then once I released from the auto-tow, I wind it up from the idle, which is about 35,000 RPM, up to about 85. It does go higher, and that gives you a lot more power, but I was told that 85 is enough. And on the flight after this, I got straight into a thermal and ended up using the turbine, shutting down very, very early on. The next flight was really hard, like I had the turbine going and I didn't have any height It wasn't really gaining me much height because I was in sync, but still managed to get up and stayed up long enough to get cold. But those flights, I couldn't figure out. There's a camera here which is giving us good footage, but it's almost impossible to deal with the files on the SD card. So that's why I bundled these together. That's all I could do is save these. I've got the 2 other videos as separate videos, and I would like to make an edit of the whole thing, but this is all it is for now. So it was a really good day out. Got a good feel for it, but I want to put more hours on this thing to see how it really sings.
Μη σου πω ότι έρχεται και νωρίς και όλα θα πατήσει νωρίς.
So I managed to stay on the strip, but I could do with some work with the rudder control, overcorrecting a bit there.
Απ' την άλλη. Εντάξει. Απ' την άλλη. Okay.
Hey.
All right.
Yeah, I did the full laps.
Okay.
Until, I don't know, 100 feet or so, and then I went back to 30.
Okay, mate.
It's great. Yeah.
That was a really good flight.
Yeah, I was super stoked. Great day. I was just a bit cold up there.
Yeah. I felt your hand.
Yeah. Well, luckily I had quite a bit of time low at the end to warm up again, but yeah.